नमस्कार मित्रांनो, या व्हिडिओमध्ये आपण आज ग्रॅव्हिटेशन हा जो एक इम्पॉर्टंट चॅप्टर आहे याविषयी सविस्तरपणे माहिती करून घेणार आहोत. ग्रॅव्हिटेशन हा चॅप्टर जर पाहिलं तर हा इम्पॉर्टंट आणि सिम्पल आहे, तरी सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांनी यामध्ये व्यवस्थितपणे अभ्यास करून यामध्ये मार्क्स मिस होता कामा नये याची काळजी घ्यायला पाहिजे. कारण ग्रॅव्हिटेशन जर पाहिलं तर JEE मेन आणि नीट यामध्ये कमीत कमी एक क्वेश्चन किंवा जास्तीत जास्त 2 क्वेश्चन्स हे हमखास असतात. म्हणजे आपण जर लास्ट प्रिव्हियस 7-8 वर्षाचे पेपर जर पाहिले तर 1 किंवा 2 क्वेश्चन हे JEE मेन आणि ॲडव्हान्समध्ये पण तसंच आहे. 2 क्वेश्चन हे JEE ॲडव्हान्समध्ये यावर ग्रॅव्हिटेशन या चॅप्टरवर एक्झाम क्वेश्चन असतात. तरी पण आपण या व्हिडिओमध्ये पूर्ण ग्रॅव्हिटेशन याविषयी पूर्ण समजून घेणार आहोत आणि या चॅप्टरवर आपण कमांड करून घेणार आहोत. तर ग्रॅव्हिटेशन जर पाहिलं तर या स्कोप ऑफ ह्या व्हिडिओ लेक्चरचं असे असेल. ग्रॅव्हिटेशन म्हटलं की आपल्याला केप्लर्स लॉ ऑफ प्लॅनेटरी मोशन, न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ ग्रॅव्हिटेशन, ग्रॅव्हिटी, रिलेशन बिटवीन द ॲक्सिलरेशन ड्यू टू ग्रॅव्हिटी अँड ग्रॅव्हिटेशन कॉन्स्टंट, एस्केप व्हेलॉसिटी and critical velocity, gravitational potential energy, binding energy, motion of satellite, artificial satellite आणि why the astronaut is feeling weightless in a satellite ह्या गोष्टीवर आपली कमांड असणं आवश्यक आहे. तर आपण एक एक पॉईंट्स आपण समजून घेऊन आपण हा चॅप्टर कन्क्लूड करणार आहोत. तर या व्हिडिओ लेक्चर्समध्ये जो आपला पार्ट 1 आहे ग्रॅव्हिटेशनचा, यामध्ये आपण केप्लर्स लॉ ऑफ प्लॅनेटरी आणि न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ ग्रॅव्हिटेशन याविषयी पूर्णपणे माहिती करून घेणार आहोत. तर मित्रांनो, सर्वप्रथम आपण ग्रॅव्हिटेशनचं इंट्रोडक्शन पाहूयात. ग्रॅव्हिटेशन म्हणजे काय? ग्रॅव्हिटेशन हा एक असा फिनॉमिना आहे ज्यामुळं दोन जर ऑब्जेक्ट असतील ज्याचं काहीतरी मास असेल आणि ते जर आपण एकमेकाच्या जवळ ठेवलं तर यामध्ये एक फोर्स एक्झिस्ट असेल आणि हा फोर्स असेल फोर्स ऑफ अट्रॅक्शन. आणि या फोर्स ऑफ अट्रॅक्शनमुळं आपण ग्रॅव्हिटेशन फिनॉमिना स्टडी करतोय. सो ग्रॅव्हिटेशन इज द फिनॉमिना ऑफ म्युच्युअल अट्रॅक्शन ऑफ फोर्सेस बिटवीन एनी टू bodies, that is the gravitation. So gravitation, whenever word is there, gravitation, so there exists the force of attraction between any two bodies in the universe is called as a gravitation. Gravitation जर पाहिलं आपल्याला 2 टर्म्स ते आपल्याला येणार आहेत. एक पहिला आहे प्लॅनेट आणि दुसरा आहे सॅटेलाइट. प्लॅनेट म्हणजे काय? द ऑब्जेक्ट विच इज रिव्हॉल्विंग इन अ सेमी सर्क्युलर ऑर्बिट अराउंड द सन इज कॉल्ड एज अ प्लॅनेट. And what is the satellite? An object which is moving around the planet is called as a satellite. That already we know. We have 8 planets in our solar system. That is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. These are the 8 planets exist in our solar system. And the satellite, suppose we take the example of the Earth. For Earth, Moon is the natural satellite and INSAT 1B is the artificial satellite. We can see with this figure, this is the Earth, and in the Earth, the Moon is the natural satellite which is revolving in a circular orbit. Not in exactly circular, in an elliptical orbit, having a particular orbit. So along with that orbit, this Moon is moving around the Sun. So this is about the introduction regarding the gravitation. Very simple, friends. Gravitation is the phenomena of existence of mutual attraction force between any two bodies in the universe. That is the gravitation. Now the question may be happen that when I suppose when I take any of two object, I take 2 books and they are kept near to each other. So students may be thinking that why they are not attracting with each other, because this one book is having the mass, another book is having the mass, and we are saying that yes, there is a phenomenon of gravitation force. There exists one force and this is force of attraction. So why these two books are not attracting with each others? So friends, remember, when I have put some object from height, then that object will fall down toward the earth surface, because there exists the one force. This body is having one mass, earth is having the mass. The earth is a very massive, we can say the mass is very large, so that there exists the uncountable force of attraction between these two bodies, so that that object will be attracted toward the earth. But when I kept the two books near to each other, then there exists the force. Yes, obviously there exists the force because of the phenomenon of gravitation, but this force is negligible, so that these books are not attracting with each other. This is the simple concept, that why any two objects are not, we are looking that two objects are attracting to with each other, because as compared to the earth surface, our mass, human being mass or any object mass, it is very small, so we are not getting the force of attraction between these two objects. Understood, friends? This is the simple concept regarding the gravitation. So when we are moving toward the gravitation, so the next point is the Kepler's law of planetary motion. Kepler's law of planetary motion, and this Kepler's law of planetary motion there are the Kepler defines three different laws for the planetary motion. And remember, Kepler defines the three different laws for the planetary motion. केपलर जे तीन वेगवेगळे लॉ डिफाईन केलेले जे की डिफाईन करतायत हाऊ द प्लॅनेट इज मूव्हिंग अराउंड द सन, म्हणजे प्लॅनेट हा सनच्या अराउंड कसं मूव्ह होतो याच्या रिलेटेड केपलरनी तीन वेगवेगळे लॉ डिफाईन केले. तर ते तीन लॉ आहेत. पहिला आहे केपलर्स फर्स्ट लॉ, सेकंड केपलर्स सेकंड लॉ, थर्ड केपलर्स थर्ड लॉ. We can remember for Kepler's first, Kepler's second, Kepler's third law. These laws are called as I will give the simple tricks. Remember OAT, spelling is OAT. That is, the first law is orbital law, second law is area law, and third law is T, time period law. That is OAT. We can remember like this. So Kepler's first law is called as orbit law. Kepler's second law is called as area law. Kepler's third law is called as a time period law, or we can say simple period law. So let us discuss details regarding the Kepler's first law, second law, and third law. So we will see first what is the Kepler's first law. Kepler's first law, it is called as a orbital law. Kepler's first law, it is also called as orbital law, and the statement states that all the planets move in elliptical orbit. All the planets move in elliptical orbit with the sun situated at one of the foci of ellipse. Means all the planets, so for example 8 planets are exist, that already we discussed. These 8 planets are moving around the sun in a path. That path is a elliptical orbit. In a elliptical orbit with the center sun is the foci, with the sun is situated at one of the foci of the ellipse. So with this figure we will explain this. This is the sun which is situated at the one of the foci of the ellipse, and this is the planet that moving in a elliptical orbit, that moving in a elliptical orbit with the sun situated at the foci of the ellipse. We are getting there 2 points, point A and the point B, and this A point and P points, the A point is farthest point from the sun, and B is the nearest point to the sun, so that this A point is called as apogee and P point is called as perigee. So this is the first Kepler's first law. Very simple. Kepler's first law defines the orbit of the planet, and all the planets are moving in an elliptical orbit around the sun situated at the foci of the one of the foci of the ellipse. Now we will discuss about the Kepler's second law. Kepler's second law, it is also called as the area law. What is the Kepler's second law? States that the line joining the planet sweeps equal area in equal interval of time. The line joining the planet sweeps equal area in equal interval of time. Let us describe in details. This is the sun. As per the first law, the planet is moving in elliptical orbit for some time t. Suppose the planet is moving from point A to point B, and at the same time, suppose it is for the 5 minutes, planet is moving from A to B. At the same time, 5 minutes, planet is moving from C to D. Then according to the Kepler's second law, we can say the area of CSD equal to ASB. So according to second law, area of ASB equal to CSD. The area sweeps, equal area will be sweeps in equal interval of time. That is called as a Kepler's second law. Simple statement. Again, when we are defining the Kepler's second law, now we will go in the deep. The aerial velocity remains constant. Aerial velocity remains constant. Now let us elaborate this. The aerial velocity, it is given by dA upon dt, that is the rate of change of area with respect to time. But when we suppose the planet is moving from point A to B in some time, in some small time dt, then we know the simple relation, that is velocity is equal to distance upon time. So distance is equal to velocity into time. Velocity I will take the v, and distance time I will take the dt. So v into dt, it becomes the distance. So planet will cover the distance from point A to B with the cover distance from the planet will cover the distance from A to B, that is the v into dt, and we know this distance is the r. So we'll take this r. So area of this shaded portion, that is ASB, it can be given as 1 by 2 r into this distance AB distance, that is v into dt. Yes, now we will solve this 1 by 2 r into v. I will divide and multiply by m. So divide, multiply by m. So it become mvr upon m, half mvr upon m. Now this is equal to 1 by 2. But mass into velocity, what is the relation? Mass into velocity, we know mass into velocity, it is given by the linear momentum. So linear momentum, it is denoted by p. So 1 by 2 p into r upon m. So this is the equation we are getting here, half p into r upon m. P is the linear momentum, but the linear momentum into the distance, that is nothing but the angular momentum. And angular momentum, that already we discussed in the rotational motion, it is given by the L. So I am getting the expression L upon 2m. L upon 2m. Now in this case, L is the angular momentum, m is the mass. So L and m, these are the constant. So that is equal to constant. But what is this constant? This is the aerial velocity, and this aerial velocity is equal to dA upon dt, that is equal to constant. So we are getting this equation. Remember friends, Kepler's second law, Kepler's second law gives the laws of conservation of angular momentum. This is important for the JEE NEET exam. Kepler's second law describes the laws of conservation of angular momentum. Laws of conservation of angular momentum state that angular momentum remains always conserved, that is a constant, and the same law, it is applicable in the Kepler's second law. Let us describe this Kepler's second law. Kepler's second law in details with example. Let us describe this example. A planet moving around the sun sweeps area A1 in 2 days, A2 in 3 days, and A3 in 6 days. Then find the relation between A1, A2, A3. A planet is moving around the sun, and it is describing a different area in during the different duration, that is A1, A2, A3 in 2 days, 3 days, 6 days. Then we have to find out the relation amongst the A1, A2 and A3. So it is given A1, A2, A3. These are the three different areas, and this area will be swept in 2 days, 3 days, 6 days. So I will say this is the T1, T2, T3. We know the simple relation, that is aerial velocity remains constant. So during this A1 upon T1, A2 upon T2, that is equal to A3 upon T3, and that is equal to constant. That is the constant. So A1 upon T1, A2 upon T3, A3 upon T3. So A1, we have the value for T1, T2, T3. So A1 upon 2, A2 upon 3, A3 upon 6. Now I will equalize the denominator so that I can find the relation. I will multiply and divide by 3, multiply and divide by 2. So it is A3A1 upon 6 equal to 2A2 upon 6 equal to A3 upon 6. Now the denominators are equal. So simply I can say 3A1 equal to 2A2 equal to A3. This is the relations amongst the area A1, A2, A3. Now we will describe what is Kepler's third law. Kepler's third law, it gives period law. The square of the time period of revolution of planet around the sun is proportional to the cube of semi-major axis of elliptical orbit. The square of time period of the revolution of planet around the sun is proportional to the cube of semi-major axis of elliptical orbit. So that is t square is equal, in some books it is given r, in some book it is given a. So I have defined with both the notations. T square is proportional to the r cube and t square is proportional to the a cube. So suppose this is the sun, and around the sun planet is moving in elliptical orbit, so that this is the major axis. The distance from this center, it is a, so it becomes 2a. This is the major axis 2b. We have the 2 points a and b. These are the 2 points. The a point is situated at a r1 from the sun, and b point is situated at the distance r2 from the sun. So I have the equation AB equal to AF plus FB. AB equal to AF plus FB, but AF is equal to R1 and FB is equal to R2, R1 plus R2. So 2A equal to R1 plus R2. So A equal to R1 plus R2 upon 2. R1 plus R2 upon 2. So I can write this equation, T square is proportional to the, in place of A, now I am writing R1 plus R2 upon 2, R1 plus R2 upon 2, it is cube. This is about the Kepler's third law. So these are the three different Kepler's law. We will elaborate this Kepler's third law with the example. The planet Neptune travels around the sun with the period of 165 years. What is the radius of orbit approximately if radius is considered as a circular? One planet is there, Neptune planet, and it travels with the period is given 165 years. We have to find out what is the radius of the orbit. Suppose Neptune is there, so I am denoting the Neptune's time period 165 years. It is given in the problem. I have to find out what is the radius of the Neptune planet. I will compare with the Earth, so I can get the value for the time period of the Earth, and that we know it is 1 year. Radius of Earth I am finding in terms of radius of Earth. So by the Kepler's third law, I got the one equation, Tn square is proportional to the Rn cube and T square is proportional to the Re cube. Equation 1, equation 2. If you divide this equation 1 and 2, so I will get Tn square upon T square equal to Rn cube upon Re cube. So Tn, I know the value 165, 1 Rn cube upon Re cube. So Rn cube is equal to 165 square into Re cube. Take the cube root on both sides. So I will get the Rn is equal to approximately equal to 30 into Re. This is the radius of the Neptune planet. So this is about the Kepler's first law, second law and third law. The very important concept, Kepler's first law, Kepler's second law and Kepler's third law. मित्रांनो इथं लक्षात घ्यायचे आपल्याला, ग्रॅव्हिटेशन हा एक असा फिनॉमिना आहे की कोणती पण बॉडी युनिवर्स एक्झिस्ट असतील, 2 बॉडी, तर त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला एक फोर्स भेटणार आहे आणि तो फोर्स म्हणजेच ग्रॅव्हिटेशन फोर्स असणार आहे. दॅट इज द ग्रॅव्हिटेशन. आपल्याला दोन टर्म्स येतील या ठिकाणी, प्लॅनेट आणि सॅटेलाइट. प्लॅनेट म्हणजेच जे की काहीतरी ऑब्जेक्ट आहेत ते सेमी सर्क्युलर ऑर्बिटमध्ये मूव्ह होत आहेत, कशाच्या, अराउंड द सन, त्याला म्हणतोय आपण प्लॅनेट. आणि सॅटेलाइट जे प्लॅनेटच्या अराउंड मूव्ह होत आहेत एका सर्टन ऑर्बिटनुसार, त्याला म्हणतोय आपण सॅटेलाइट. मून हा तसा नॅचरल सॅटेलाइट आहे, आणि इनसॅट 1B एक एक्झाम्पल घेतलं तर तो आर्टिफिशियल सॅटेलाइट. आर्टिफिशियल सॅटेलाइट म्हणजे जो की ह्युमन बिईंगनी पाठवलेला आहे एखाद्या पर्टिक्युलर ॲप्लिकेशनसाठी. फॉर एक्झाम्पल व्हिडिओ ब्रॉडकास्टिंग, वेदर इन्फॉर्मेशन, मिलिटरी ॲप्लिकेशन, अशा वेगळ्या ॲप्लिकेशनसाठी आपण सॅटेलाइट हा लॉन्च करतो, आणि लॉन्च करून आपण पाठवून देतो, जो आपल्या अर्थच्या भोवती एका इलिप्टिकल एका पाथमध्ये मूव्ह होईल, आणि त्याचं जे पर्टिक्युलर एक ॲप्लिकेशन आहे त्या ॲप्लिकेशननुसार आपण त्याची माहिती कलेक्ट करत असतोय. केपलरचे लॉ जर पाहिले तर केपलरचे 3 लॉ आहेत. एक पहिला आहे केपलर फर्स्ट लॉ, केपलर सेकंड लॉ, केपलर थर्ड लॉ. केपलरचा पहिला लॉ सांगतो हा ऑर्बिटल डिफाईन करतो. केपलरचा सेकंड लॉ हा एरिया डिफाईन करतो, आणि केपलरचा थर्ड लॉ हा टाइम पिरियड आणि रेडियस ह्याच्यामधलं रिलेशन डिफाईन करतो. केपलरचा फर्स्ट लॉ हा काय सांगतो, सर्व प्लॅनेट अराउंड द सन हे एका इलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिटमध्ये मूव्ह होत आहेत. हा केपलरचा फर्स्ट लॉ. केपलरचा सेकंड लॉ सांगतो एका पर्टिक्युलर इक्वल इंटरवल टाईममध्ये प्लॅनेट ज्यावेळेस मूव्ह करतील तर ते इक्वल एरिया स्वीप करतील, कव्हर करतील. आणि केपलरचा टाइम पिरियडचा जो थर्ड लॉ आहे तो सांगतोय आपल्याला की द स्क्वेअर ऑफ टाइम पिरियड इज प्रपोर्शनल टू द क्यूब ऑफ सेमी मेजर ॲक्सिस, दॅट इज टी स्क्वेअर इज प्रपोर्शनल टू दी ए क्यूब. हा केपलरचा थर्ड लॉ सांगतोय. तर आय होप दॅट एव्हरी वन हॅज अंडरस्टूड व्हेरी वेल about the introduction about the gravitation, Kepler's first law, second law and third law. Now we will move to the next important law, that is the Newton's gravitation law or Newton's law of the gravitation. The very important law, normally also in point of view CBC and board exam it is very important, and as well as for the NEET and JEE. So understand what is the gravitation's law first. Every particle, what is the statement? Every particle in the universe attract every other particle with a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of distance between their center. Every particle, how we can remember? Every particle in the universe, प्रत्येक पार्टिकल जो की युनिवर्समध्ये एक्झिस्ट आहे हा अट्रॅक्ट करतोय एव्हरी पार्टिकल of other particles. Will attract every other particle of other bodies with a force, and this force म्हणजे हा ग्रॅव्हिटेशनचा लॉ काय सांगतो की प्रत्येक पार्टिकल इन द युनिवर्स म्हणजे पूर्ण युनिवर्समधले प्रत्येक पार्टिकल हा दुसऱ्या पार्टिकल सोबत अट्रॅक्ट करतोय, कशाने, विथ अ फोर्स. आणि या फोर्सचं रिलेशन डिफाईन करते मास आणि रेडियसमध्ये, मास आणि डिस्टन्समध्ये. सो एव्हरी पार्टिकल इन द युनिवर्स अट्रॅक्ट other particles with a force, and this force is directly proportional to the product of masses and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. This is the simple statement for the gravitation. So as per the statements we will derive the mathematical equation for the Newton's law of the gravitation. F is proportional. F कसा आहे, product आहे, that is a multiplication. We have the two bodies, they are kept near to each other, so m1 into m2. So let one body which is having the mass m1, another body which is having the mass m2, they are separated from the center to center distance, it is the r is the distance. Then there exists the force, and this force is directly proportional to the product of masses, that is m1 and m2, and inversely proportional to the square of distance between them. So F is proportional to the 1 upon r square. Equation 1 and 2. So we'll solve this mathematically. I will combine this equation 1 and 2. So F is proportional to the m1 m2 upon r square. To remove this proportionality sign, what we are doing, we are keeping an equal sign, and we are taking the one constant, and this constant is g. So I am getting the equation F is equal to g m1 m2 upon r square. So remember friends, प्रत्येक पार्टिकल इन द युनिवर्स अट्रॅक्ट विथ अदर पार्टिकल विथ अ फोर्स, अँड हा जो फोर्स आहे त्या फोर्सचं इक्वेशन आपल्याला भेटलेलं आहे F इज इक्वल टू G m1 m2 upon r square. This is the very important relations we got for the Newton's law of the gravitation. If any two bodies are there, in between that two bodies the forces exist, and this force is given by the equation F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. Now if I will take the value of m1 m2, because mass, it is having the mass 1 kilogram and distance is 1 meter. So I am getting the equation F equal to G. This is the very important equations. When the mass m1 m2, they are having the 1 kilogram and the distance is the 1 meter, so F is equal to G. So G is the one constant of proportionality, and this constant of proportionality is called as a gravitational constant. Its value is constant everywhere. Its value is constant. Means if any two objects are there, they are kept with some distance, then there exists the one constant, and that gravitation constant is the value is the 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square in SI system, and in CGS system 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 8 dyne centimeter square per gram square in CGS system. Remember the difference, it is 10 raised to minus 11, 10 raised to minus 8, 10 raised to minus 11 it is in SI system, and 10 raised to minus 8 in CGS system. The dimension for the gravitational constant is m raised to minus 1, l raised to 3, t raised to minus 2. So this is the important for the gravitational constant. So, and I hope that you have understood the gravitational law. Again we will list out some important point regarding the gravitation force. The gravitation force is always attractive in nature. As we discussed in the electrostatics, there exists one force between the two point charges, but this force is the force of attraction or repulsion. But in the gravitation, only one type of force will be exist, and that force is the gravitational force, and this gravitation force is always attractive. The value of the gravitation constant is always constant whenever any two bodies are exist. The value is the same. And when we are considering the any bodies, and if we are considering the force, so this become gravitational force. And when we are considering the one object is the earth and another object is a different object, then that force is called as a gravitative force. So we have two terms, gravitational force and gravitative force. Gravitational force means this force exists between any two bodies, and gravitative force is the force exists between the earth and another body. So this is about the Newton's law of the gravitation. So I hope that in this video you have understood what is the introduction to the gravitation, Kepler's three different laws, and the Newton's law of the gravitation. So if you like this video, you can comment and you can share this video with your friends, and also subscribe this channel to get the updated information of the newly uploaded lectures and video lectures. So thank you friends.